everyone, welcome into another episode of Matt Sports Talk, and in this video we are going to be recapping all the games from yesterday on the men's side, and we will be getting you set up for the Crossroads League tournament, which starts on Wednesday. First matchup will be up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where St. Francis hosted Spring Arbor, and I mentioned the winner of this game would be the 7 seed, and the loser of this game would be the 8 seed, and St. Francis prevailing here 102-100 in overtime, so a really good game, and that means St. Francis will be the 7 seed, Spring Arbor will be the 8 seed, and we will get to the Crossroads League tournament seeding here just a little bit later. And for the visitors, you had 28 points for Travis Grayson, 10 of 17 shooting, 7 of 8 at the line. He had 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Only 2 points for Shane Reisky, but he had 1 rebound. 19 points for Brandon Trilly, 5 of 9 shooting, 2 of 4 from deep, 7 of 8 at the line, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 steals and 1 blocks. Really good numbers there. 22 points for Dante Favor, 9 of 14 shooting, 2 of 2 from deep, 2 of 3 at the line. He had 6 rebounds, 2 assists. And then off the bench, you had 4 points for Ty Reisky, 2 of 3 shooting with 4 rebounds, and 13 points for Brandon King, 5 of 7 shooting, 3 of 4 at the line with 6 rebounds. And then you had Warwick Elder, no statistics, Eli White, no statistics, and Aiden Zank had 2 steals. And Spring Arbor shot really good from the field at 50. They struggled from 3 at 25, but they were excellent at the free throw line, converting 19 out of 23 for 82. And for the home team, you had 27 points for Mar Avance, 10 of 19 shooting. He was 2 of 4 from beyond the arc, 5 of 9 at the charity stripe. He had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Really good balanced numbers there. 16 points for Brandon Messenger, 5 of 8 shooting, which is all from downtown. And let me adjust my camera real quick because I think it was starting to tip over just a little bit. And yeah, that looks better. And Brandon Messenger, 16 points, 5 of 8 shooting. He had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Really good to see that. And then you had 12 points for Carson Rogers and 12 rebounds, so a double-double for him. He was 6 of 13 shooting with 6 assists plus a steal. Off the bench, Keyshawn McNeil, 8 minutes of action. I stand corrected, 2 points with 1 rebound. You had 9 points for Javon Lewis, 3 of 4 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep with 5 assists, 1 rebound, and 22 points for Malachi King off the bench. 6 of 12 shooting. He was 3 of 7 from deep, 7 of 8 at the line with 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. And Spring Arbor, they shot the ball equally as good from the field, actually slightly better from the field at 52, way better from 3 at 48, and they were worse at the free throw line, converting just 16 out of 23 for 69. And that was your matchup there. The next matchup will take us to Mount Vernon, Ohio, where Taylor visited Mount Vernon Nazarene. Mount Vernon Nazarene, the winners here, 72-59. MVNU finishes the year 11-2 at home. Their only home losses coming to Huntington and Indiana Wesleyan back in January. And for Taylor, they had some decent scoring. Leading the way was Isaiah Day, 14 points, 5 of 10 shooting, 4 of 9 from deep, 8 rebounds, 3 assists for him, 7 points for Pete Combs with 1 rebound, 1 block. You had 5 points for Anthony McGee with 2 assists, 1 rebound, 4 points for Carson Gold with 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 6 points for Nate Paulberg with 3 rebounds. Off the bench, you had TJ Davidson with 7 points, 2 of 3 shooting, 3 of 3 at the line with 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. 2 points for Ano Wogar with 1 steal, 1 rebound. You had Levin Smith with 2 rebounds plus a assist and a block with 2 points, and then Joey Heaston with 3 points, 1 of 1 shooting, 1 of 1 from deep, and just 2 minutes of action with an assist. You had 2 points for Dylan DeLucia in 2 minutes of action, 1 of 1 shooting, and Caleb Edwards, 2 minutes of action, had a rebound, and Nathan Baker, 7 points, 3 of 7 shooting with 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. And Taylor really struggled shooting at 39. They really struggled from 3 at 26, and they struggled at the free throw line, converting 5 out of 9 for just 55%. Meanwhile, for Mount Vernon Nazarene, they were way better from the field at 43, way better from 3 also at 43, and they were way better at the free throw line, converting 19 out of 23 for 82. And leading the way was Peyton Heiss, 5 of 8 shooting, 2 of 5 from deep, 6 of 7 at the line, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 18 points for him. You had 13 points for Isaiah Brown. Now 6 of the 13 were at the free throw line though. He had 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. And then Drew Koenig, 2 minutes of action, no statistics. And then you had his brother Trent, 11 points, 5 of 9 shooting, 1 of 1 from deep, 1 of 4 from deep. I stand corrected. 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. 7 points for Reed Platfoot, 3 of 7 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Really, really good numbers there. And then off the bench, you had B.D. Laurie with 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 4 minutes of action. Grant Burkholder, 2 points, 7 minutes of action with a steal. And then Kieran Granville with 2 points, 1 of 3 shooting, 7 rebounds, and 17 minutes of action. And then 7 points for Devin Dreyer, 2 of 3 shooting, 1 of 1 from deep, 2 of 3 at the line with 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And then Abib with 12 points, 3 of 8 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep, 5 of 6 at the line. He had 7 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. And that was your matchup there. The next matchup will take us to Indianapolis, Indiana, where number 19 Huntington faced off against Marion. And Huntington, even though they were the visiting team, no problem here, 82-67 the final score. And for the Forcers, you had 22 points by Caden Johnson leading the way, 15 rebounds as well, so a double-double. He was 9 of 13 shooting, 4 of 5 at the line, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. 16 points for Miles Good, 5 of 8 shooting, 2 of 4 from deep, 4 of 5 at the line, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals. 10 points for Cade Brenner with 1 rebound, and then you had 7 points for Keelan Lassisi, 2 of 2 shooting, 3 of 4 at the line, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 11 points for Jackson Paul, 4 of 10 shooting, 1 of 1 from deep, 2 of 2 at the line. He also had 4 rebounds, 3 assists. And off the bench, Wyatt Zepp with 2 points and 2 minutes of action, both at the free throw line. Jackson Jones, 7 minutes of action with 2 rebounds. Tatum Metzger, 3 minutes of action, no statistics. 6 points for Landon Beagle, 2 of 4 shooting, which is all from deep, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. 8 points for Matthew Spears, 3 of 6 shooting, 2 of 4 from deep with 2 rebounds and a block. And Luke LaGrange, in 2 minutes of action, had a rebound. And Huntington shot really well from the field at 50 and really good from 3 at 40. And they were decent at the free throw line, converting 16 out of 21 for 76. And then for Marion, leading the way was Aaron Humphrey Jr., 19 points. He struggled shooting at 9 of 19, but he had 8 rebounds, 2 assists. 4 points for Aiden Franks, 2 of 6 shooting, 1 rebound, 2 assists. Ron Rutland III, 12 points, 5 of 11 shooting, 2 of 5 from deep, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. 8 points for Dylan Moles. Now 4 of the 8 were at the free throw line, though. He also had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and then 2 points for Josiah Gustin with 3 rebounds and a block. And off the bench, Joshua Renfro, 11 points, 4 of 7 shooting, 3 of 4 from deep. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist. 3 points for Luke Carroll with 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. And then Luke Lindemann did not score, but he had 1 rebound and 1 steal. And then 6 points for Blake Russell, 2 of 3 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line. He had 3 rebounds and an assist. And 2 points for Hayden Nara, 1 of 2 shooting with 1 block. Marion shot 44 from the field. It's not too terribly bad. Struggled from 3 at 31. They were worse at the free throw line, albeit by not a lot, converting 7 out of 11 for 63. And that was your match up there. The next matchup takes us to Winona Lake, where number 2 Grace faced off against Goshen. And this was a very, very close game, a much closer game than what everybody would have expected. Grace, though, prevailing here, 86-84. And, of course, Grace was still without their leading scorer, Ian Roush. So that obviously played a big role in the outcome of this game. But Goshen had some really good balanced scoring. 15 points for Braden Allen, 4 of 5 shooting, 3 of 4 from deep, 4 of 4 at the line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. 11 points for Marcus Northern, 4 of 11 shooting, 1 of 3 from deep, 2 of 2 at the line. He had 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. 6 points for Kenny May with 1 rebound, 2 assists. You had 10 points for Kevin Coda, 5 of 7 shooting with 3 rebounds, 1 assist. And then 14 points for Cameron Williams, 5 of 9 shooting, 3 of 5 from deep with 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Off the bench, Savion Williams with 11 points, 4 of 6 shooting, 2 of 2 from deep, 1 of 2 at the line with 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 5 blocks. Really, really good to see that. 10 points for Jacob Carlson, 2 of 7 shooting, 1 of 5 from deep, 5 of 6 at the line with 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. 2 points for Deacon Hill with 1 rebound. 5 points for Jiraj Minarovec, 2 of 5 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep with a rebound. And Joshua Gentry, 2 minutes of action. No statistics. And Goshen shot excellent from the field at 45, excellent from 3 at 40, and really, really good at free throw line, converting 13 out of 16 for 81. And for Grace, they also had some good balanced scoring. You had 19 points leading the way was Gage Sefton, 8 of 11 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep, 2 of 3 at the line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. 12 points for Tyler Roush, 6 of 14 shooting, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 blocks. Really, really good to see that. 14 points for Hunter Walston with 11 rebounds, so a double-double for him. 6 of 12 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep. He also had 5 assists, 2 steals. 17 points for Michael Wellman, getting some starting time. 6 of 12 shooting, 2 of 5 from deep, 3 of 3 at the line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Grady Carpenter with 3 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Off the bench, Cannon Hauser, 4 points, 2 of the 4 with the free throw line, though. He also had 1 rebound, 1 assist. You had Caleb Harrell, 2 minutes of action, no statistics, 4 points for Luke Bricker. Now 2 of the 4 with the free throw line, though. He also had 2 rebounds. And then Cole Hayworth, 2 minutes of action, no statistics. And Gavin Benton off the bench, 4 of 6 shooting, 5 of 6 at the line. He had 13 points on the day. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals for him. And Grace shot better from the field at 52, struggled from 3 at 30, and they were slightly better at the free throw line, albeit by not a lot, 16 out of 19 for 84. And that was your matchup there. The final matchup takes us to Marion, Indiana, where number 3 Indiana Wesleyan faced off against number 11 Bethel, and Indiana Wesleyan, the winners here, 79-69. So Indiana Wesleyan for the second straight, I believe it's either maybe the third straight year actually, the third straight year that they're still alive for running the table at home, except to Grace. So that's obviously something to keep an eye on throughout the league tournament coming up this week and end of a national tournament as well, at least the opening round weekend, when the Indiana Wesleyan men's basketball team definitely should host the opening round matchups. And for Bethel, they had some good scoring too. 21 points, Austin Kripe, 6 of 14 shooting, 3 of 7 from deep, 6 of 6 at the line. He had 1 rebound, 1 steal. You had 15 points for Alonis Basilius, 5 of 10 shooting, 5 of 7 at the line, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. 11 points for Luke McBride, 4 of 9 shooting, 1 of 4 from deep, 2 of 2 at the line with 3 rebounds, 1 steal. You had 5 points for Bo Jacque, 3 of 4 at the line, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. Colin Comer did not score, but he had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal, though. Then off the bench, Jameer Jefferson did not score, but he had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. 5 points for Carter Kent, 2 of 6 shooting, 1 of 3 from deep, 4 rebounds, and 1 steal. You had 6 points for Andrew Hedrick, 3 of 4 shooting with 3 assists. And then 6 points for Alex Ellenson, 2 of 3 shooting, 1 of 1 from deep, 1 of 1 at the line. And Bethel, they didn't shoot the ball bad from the field at 41. They struggled from 3 at 35, and they were okay at the free throw line, converting 17 out of 23 for 73. And for the Wildcats, they were way better from the field at 52, and they were worse from 3 at 26, but they were pretty much equally as good at the free throw line, converting 13 out of 17 for 76. And laying the way for Indiana Wesleyan was Cademan Bontrager, 23 points, 9 of 16 shooting, 1 of 3 from deep, 4 of 5 at the line, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Only 2 points for Jake Smith, but he had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Only 3 points for Millen McCartney, but he had 2 rebounds, 2 steals. 8 points for Isaac Andrews, 3 of 9 shooting, 2 of 6 from deep. He had 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. 8 points for DJ Moore, 4 of 6 shooting with 2 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. And off the bench, 5 points for Crew Gibson, 2 of 4 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. 4 points for Marcus Ankney with 2 rebounds, and then 2 points for Kevin Sakas in just 7 minutes of action. He had 2 rebounds and 1 block. And then the big one was Julius Gizzi, 24 points, 8 of 11 shooting, 8 of 8 at the line, 2 rebounds, 1 assist for him. And that was your match up there. And that concludes recapping all the games on the men's side of things, at least from Saturday. And then we will now get to the final league standings. Grace 15-3, Indiana Wesleyan 14-4, Bethel 12-6, tied with Huntington. However, that tiebreaker does favor Huntington because of the win over Indiana Wesleyan, and Bethel got swept by IWU, so therefore Huntington does get that common opponent tiebreaker for being the 3 seed. Bethel falls to the 4 seed at 12-6. Taylor, because of their loss to Mount Vernon Nazarene, Taylor finished in 5th at 11-7. However, even if Taylor had won that game, even with Bethel losing to IWU, Bethel still would have been ahead of Taylor because of beating Grace, and Taylor got swept by Grace. So obviously, Bethel was guaranteed to be no worse than the 4 seed. Either way you slice it. Mount Vernon Nazarene, solely the 6 seed at 9-9. And they were 17-11 overall. Well, I'll get to the overall records here in just a moment. And then you had St. Francis, the 7 seed at 7-11. Spring Arbor was the 8 seed at 6-12. And then, of course, Goshen and Marion tied for 9th and 10th at 2-16. In league play, both obviously eliminated. And for Marion, they obviously were projected 5th. They finished 9th for the second straight year because of injuries. I had Marion projected 9th, so that's exactly where they finished. I had Goshen projected last, pretty much exactly where they finished. I think I had St. Francis finishing 8th. They finished 7th. I had Spring Arbor finishing, I believe, 5th, and they finished 8th. So obviously I kind of missed that by a few spots. I'm pretty sure I had Mount Vernon Nazarene finishing 6th. That's exactly where they finished. And I had Taylor finishing 7th. They finished 5th, so pretty close there. And I had Huntington finishing 3rd, and that's exactly where they finished. And now the Huntington was projected 7th, and I had them 3rd, exactly where they finished. So I nailed that. Right on the nose. I had Bethel finishing 4th. I believe, I had Bethel 4th, and then Spring Arbor 5th. So I had Bethel 4th. So I believe it or not, I accurately predicted in preseason the top 4 in exact order. I had Grace finishing 1st, Ottawa 2nd, Huntington 3rd, Bethel 4th, and that's exactly how those 4 teams finished in exact order, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that obviously, and really this was, I believe, my very first time predicting where teams would finish, very first year and doing that. So believe it or not, I actually did really, really good on the men's side, and that's just crazy. Being able to accurately, and remember, I started at predicting this, I believe it was back in late August or early September. So, man, you look back at late last summer to where we are now in late February. This is just absolutely amazing that I accurately predicted the top 4 in exact order. So, man, like can't wait for next year. Maybe I'll do a little bit better next year. Who knows? But still, definitely. Definitely not too terribly bad with getting the top 4 exactly right for the very first year of predicting where teams would finish. Where teams would finish. Then looking at overall records, you got Grace at 25-3, Indiana Wesleyan 24-4, Bethel 22-6, Huntington 21-7, Mount Vernon Taylor, 19-9, Mount Vernon Nazarene 17-11, St. Francis 12-15, Spring Arbor 13-15, Goshen 9-19, and Marion 5-23. And for Marion, this was the worst season that they have had since the 2007/2008 season. But they'll be getting a brand new head coach next season, so obviously I hope and pray that their program definitely turns around in the right direction for next year. So looking at least on the men's side, your teams that are either locked into a national tournament or on the bubble, and teams locked in obviously would be Grace because they won the regular season, so they get the first automatic bid. Indiana Wesleyan, they finished 2nd. They're a lock no matter what happens in the league tournament. Then you have Huntington in 3rd, another lock for sure into the national tournament. Bethel 4th. Again, they're obviously another team locked into the national tournament. Again, they're probably right now, I don't want to say exactly what seed they would be, but they would still be for sure in. Taylor, I think, is borderline of being on the very bottom of the bubble. We're going to have to wait and see how the other league tournaments play out. Mount Vernon Nazarene, I think, would still be out. I think they would be among the first 4 out right now, even though they ran the table. They won 3 in a row. So, yeah, they ran the last 3. And so, yeah, I say Mount Vernon Nazarene would be on the bubble, but probably outside of the bubble. So your 2 bubble teams, I think, are Taylor and Mount Vernon Nazarene. And I would have Taylor in ahead of Mount Vernon, at least to me. And obviously the top 4 for sure lock, no question about that. So that is an updated view on all of that with the updated Crossroads League playoff standings, and as well as talking about all of that. So in my next video, we are going to recap all the games from the women's side, and there is a lot to cover there. So if you did enjoy this video or find it very helpful, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out greatly. I appreciate any feedback that you may provide me. My goal is to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this year. So please, let's get that, keep that number going up in terms of my subscriber count, so I can hit that goal at the very end of this year. So again, super excited about all the content that is to come in terms of March, particularly on the women's side, because that's the side that I really hone in on the most, especially with the RPIs, ARCs, quads, all that good stuff. That's going to be a lot of fun. That is for sure, to see how it plays out. So thanks for tuning into this video, and I will see you momentarily for my women's video. God bless.